Do people here like, I mean, you're all at this amazing institution. Is career in music like something, like a kind of goal? Desired. Must be positive. I'm joking. There's a lot of positives. There's a lot. It's been such a gift and a blessing, but there has also been there's a lot of hardships that come with it as well. For me, this is very much obviously like a personal perspective. For me, it's been my career for like, not even for that long, like where I stopped working, maybe like, I'd say like 10 years, something like that. It's been about the last 10 years. And it was never like a strategy or anything that I kind of had. It just really happened, just been grafting and doing it for a long time. And then it's really weird now. I don't know what it is that makes a little shift happen, because it didn't feel like a whole lot that I was doing differently, really. And suddenly bookings started to come in, and then suddenly, like, I actually think the EQ50 thing helped me. People got scared and said, "Oh God, we need to book more women. Don't call us out." And so for sure, some women like benefited from that. I think Rupture as well is like helps a lot, having that platform that we've grown. But that in terms of that tipping point, it's quite interesting. I don't really know what it was. Like sometimes I did then get an agent that was helpful, but I also think sometimes people put way too much emphasis on having an agent and think it's just going to be the like solution to like propelling their music career. And you still have to create the demand for people to want to book you. You know, agents can definitely help, and I hate talking about money, and can do negotiations and can, I don't know, just handle the side of it that I do find difficult, but they're not miracle workers at the same time, you know? So I kind of wanted to, again, I'm sure you all know what the positives are because you're all musicians. So I guess I just wanted to touch on like 3 or 4 things that have been quite big hurdles that have come up in terms of DJing and releasing music. This is a big one for me, performance anxiety. So I think because DJing and raving, the potential is so huge to have like one of the best nights of your life, and to feel that huge collective power of being together and when you're being in that flow state of DJing where you're like, I don't know, the tunes were all just picking themselves, and they were just, I don't know, everything was just, I didn't even have to mix. It was all just, I didn't have to touch anything, and it was all just so magical, and the crowd was just with us. Like, that can happen. It doesn't obviously happen nearly every rave, but when it does, we know like how beautiful that can feel. And so then I think there can be this, for me, I can then be like highly critical of myself if that isn't the case. And of course, that's not going to be the case most of the time. Like, that happens every now and then, and that's wonderful. But there's always, especially going abroad, when you're DJing abroad, it's like I played in Lisbon, and when I got there, I realized it's a techno club. You know, it's not, they don't really have drum and bass there. And the club was amazing. I walked in and it felt like being in the Matrix, and it's like all these beautiful young people, all in black, looking like super beautiful. And I was thinking, I'm gonna fucking hate this shit. I was like, but I was able to kind of talk myself into like, look, it is what it is, and this is not a jungle crowd. And I actually played more kind of drum and bassy rolling, and that seemed to work, and it was all good, and I enjoyed it. But I'm very harsh on myself afterwards. It's a very lonely profession as well. It's kind of you one up there, often on a stage, which is not a great feeling. It can make you feel really self-conscious, and you just feel really vulnerable at times, especially if it's not going well. You feel like you're there with your pants down, and then you'll just look up and you'll see someone who looks so bored. You know, like, it's always the way when you're having a bit of a panic, you'll look up and often, even if I'm on the dance, I'm not there like smiling with my hands up all the time. Sometimes you're just in it and your eyes are a bit closed or whatever. But I think when you're, again, in that negative headspace, you just attach, your mind just attaches everything to kind of being quite negative, and it can all get quite catastrophic. So some tips that I have for it. Who here DJs or plays live? Okay, most people. Do you have this, or you or not, yeah? Because I know some people don't, and I just admire that so much. I think also everyone's like, just had different upbringings in life and different situations and experiences happen, which is why that inner critic for some people is so loud, and for others, it's not as loud. But yeah, so diaphragmatic breathing, which is really breathing deeply from your diaphragm. So often you will be surprised how often I will get behind the decks and just have a minute, go on my knees and breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4. Do that 4 times. It's about 30 seconds. You've got 30 seconds, yeah? If it's really feeling overwhelming to the point where I'm starting to feel a bit panicked, then I will do that. Just sit down, pretend you're having a drink or whatever, and just go on your knees. And it really, really helps to calm my nerves, helps me come back into the moment and be present. It's really hard when you're DJing and you're in that kind of full mode of concentration to be able to like zoom out and just laugh at it all, because there's so many, you're so on all the time. So I talk to myself like I talk to my kids if they're worried about something, with love, compassion and kindness. And I'm also lucky that I have a lot of friends who go through the same thing, so that we can all be like, ah! And they can go, it's fine, okay. And then you do the same for them. It's, I think it's something that, and what's really weird about it, it's not related to how big the gig is. It's not related to the number of people. Sometimes it will just hit me. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was not even that nervous about this gig. I felt fine. And why am I just in a complete muddle and like fumbling? And I don't plan my sets. I prepare a lot, like my record box is all organized. If I'm playing records, then I organize my records. But I like to just, improvise and go with the flow. But actually, sometimes if I will have like a little playlist of a previous gig somewhere scrolled at the bottom of one that went well, and I can like maybe go through like 3 or 4 tunes in the same order to just give me a minute to be like, I know these go well because I remember that gig was all right, and just to not have to think about it a little bit and then get back on your feet and take it away.
Sorry, it's a bit personal, but I'm recently kind of like on a bit of I'm not drinking as much. I find DJing especially, I'm worried about where that's going to go, and I wonder what your journey's been with that. Because when I was younger, DJing, I used to do like 4 or 5 pints, maybe some other stuff, before I go on. What's your kind of journey been with that? Do you drink much? Do you drink at all when you play?
Let me skip to that. Boom, substances. That's all right, we can do that bit now. Yes, so I had, in the early days of Rupture, I'd get so nervous that I would drink so much and black out. That was my standard thing. And I had this one experience where I kicked someone, right? I went for him. It was this guy that used to humiliate me, right, back in the day. And I don't remember. And this was a long time ago. And I woke up the next day, total blackout. And David being like, you last night. And I was so, it was quite, at our rave, that's how I'm going on, like aggressive and violent when that's like everything we're against. And I was so embarrassed. I had to call him up and apologize. And I had a set where I was so drunk and I was playing after Loxley and D-Bridge, who were like my idols. And I thought I was so good. And I listened back and it's just clanging it up. And I was so, luckily it was at Rupture. So it wasn't like playing for another promoter. But those shook me big time. And I think as I kind of developed and progressed and started to get more bookings, I started to realize this is a career that I want to do. And like alcohol is just, it's the worst. When you're pissed, I promise you, you will be a better DJ without it, But it is really hard because for me, I think that's where having my kids helps so much. I haven't gone to an after party since I had my kids. I let my hair down maybe once or twice a year. I drive most places. I go, I play, I pretty much leave. And I sometimes feel bad that like, there's that networking side in the green room and everyone's partying and it's like, the promo, like, oh, stay. But I've got other things to do. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's that focus. I will sometimes change my rider. It is not normal to turn up to work and be greeted with a bottle of tequila. And it is so normalized, and it's almost like, I think it's got much better, but you would almost see it as like a bit of a party pooper. You're not drinking, you know what I mean? You're not partying. It's like, what are you doing at a rave? And actually, I have friends who have come through the other side of addiction, and that's like, it's no joke, It's like, already you've got all these things to contend with, like lack of sleep and exhaustion. And then if you kind of add to that drink and drugs, it's really, really hard. Are you finding your anxieties getting worse?
Well, I mean, I'm not drinking as much recently. Because, to be honest, just hangovers are getting so long. They're passing like the 2-3 day mark.
Wow.
And so it's just like, if I DJ or if I just go out with mates, there's no work, nothing to be done till Wednesday. If I go out on a Saturday, so it's kind of now like trying to figure out. But I haven't DJed as much recently. DJing obviously anytime I go out before and play, then you're just there till close, after parties, all that. So it's I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to sort out, But yeah, definitely anxieties and stuff post-drink is crazy as well.
Exactly.
It's mad. It's so shit.
Yeah.
So
that just deep humiliation of like, oh God, I'm such a dickhead. Like it's horrible,
Yeah.
I think as well, if your mates know that you're wanting to tone it down and can help respect that a bit, is helpful. It's difficult, man, because you turn up and you just get swept up in it. Yeah. It's so, it's like, it's really, really, really hard. But I do think if for a gig, you should remember trying to approach it as work, and something that is like, the better you do, the tighter you are, like the better you perform and can kind of just the best that you can possibly play, the more likely you are to kind of build your reputation and for people to go, he was really sick. What's your DJ name? Baranta. Yeah. Wicked. And be like, Baranta was sick, he was on fire tonight, and just to kind of like, or the promoter to book you again. And for me, my worst sets have been drinking too much. And I will change my rider, not always, but I will often be like, right, can you just put water in it? Or if they give you drinks tokens, who wants to go and get a bloody drink from the bar with a drinks token? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to drink 2 drinks that night then, because I can't be asked to go to the bar. But that's really helpful. If then they'll be like, here's a couple of drinks tokens, you're like, right. But at least that's going to put a limit on it somehow, Yeah? Yeah. Cool. Good luck, mate. It's hard. Let me see if I can just go back to, how are we doing? I'll just do this last bit. Oh, wow. Okay, maybe not.
Just over 10 minutes.
I'll be quick. This is the big one, self-doubt and the importance of finishing and sharing music. So I'm guessing a lot of you are producers, yeah? And this is like turmoil, but I also feel like something that a lot of us go through, I have just finished 2 EPs. One's coming out on Rupture next month. I actually finished at the end of last year, and I just finished my EP for Ilian Tape, my second one last week. Sent the pre-masters yesterday. And every time it's the same thing. For me, it's just sending the pre-masters is the hardest thing, because that's the final. And that is when I'm like, I've listened to the tunes, I've scanned through each element 100 times, making sure everything sounds okay. And you've picked it all apart and you've just dissected it in this way that's really clinical. There is no, when you're making music and you tap into like this universal life force that just makes you feel so amazing when you get into that creative flow. There's none of that. This is just like work and doubt and criticism, and then I feel humiliated that I ever thought there was anything good in this, because I've picked it apart so much, and it's really, really hard. So it's something that I struggle with a lot. When I was writing the EP for Rupture, I at one point just like got into bed and had to just like hide and just get into a ball and just be like, I can't do this anymore. So for me, I it's why I think it's so important to have other things outside of music that you get a lot of joy from, and that you can also tap into that same flow feeling. So for me, it's yoga. I go to yoga like all the time, and there's times where you can just get into that meditative. I do hot yoga, so it's really hot and intense, and it's beautiful. And you can get it from lots of different places, you know, like walking, reading, playing chess, whatever it is, like anything. I think it's so important to have something outside of this music world, so that if you are spiraling, you're able to kind of just come out of it, distance yourself, and like laughing at it all is so important to go like, it's just a fucking tune. It's like, you know what I mean? Because at the time you're like, once it's out, and it's going to define me, and it's going to be my identity, and it's going to be this, you can make it this huge monster that's just like really overbearing. And I think to try and bring a bit of lightness back into it is really important, because sharing your music is like, it's so important. Finishing it, of course, is important, but the sharing it, and that's the really hard part. You feel, again, it's a vulnerability of something that you've created. Again, I have a mate, you all know Tim Reaper. He doesn't feel any of this. It's just a tune. And I'm like, I know, but it's like, literally just a tune. Next. And it's true, as soon as I sent off these pre-masters, it's just so lovely to be able to be like, right, done, next. I don't have to think about this music anymore and move on. And that's how we evolve as artists, is what's the next step. But I really think that we can't properly evolve onto the next step until we've finished the music and shared it in some shape or form. Not every single tune you have to finish and share, but I think that's how we truly progress, is making sure that music is finished. Because I have friends who've been making loops for 20 years, and that's kind of stuck. They are stuck in the loop. It's not going anywhere, you know? So really having the kind of confidence, it's brave, you know? And I respect all of you for making music, because with it comes kind of courage and bravery and putting yourself out there. And at times, that can be really hard to do. So yeah. We good?
Yeah, we've got a bit more time, like 9 minutes if you want.
Oh, okay. Well, on this, I was going to skip this, you see, on the point of sharing your music, I was going to share, here we go. This is one of the tunes from my EP, which is coming out on Rupture.
So many of us are so...
Does anyone know Eris Drew? Eris Drew, yeah, so this is the Eris Drew sample. I go out once a year raving by myself to Eris Drew. I don't tell anyone, that's my treat. So this is like jungle techno.
We still have these incredible tools, and we still have music, and we still have each other.
So that's one of the tracks. It's kind of a jungle techno vibe. And then I'll just quickly do this. Do we have time?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, cool. DJing a lot is really tiring and can then often make you feel quite depleted. So I think it's really important to check in with yourself to measure like what is success, because I used to think success is the amount of bookings that you get, and I still sometimes can see myself leaning into that, and I'm like, that's just not what it is. And actually it's somehow trying to get some sort of balance. And I had it last year where we had a Rupture in Amsterdam, and like the day before I just couldn't stop crying. I was like, I can't travel. I'd been like abroad for like, it was like 9 weeks in a row. And I felt so ashamed saying it, because you're always supposed to feel so much gratitude, and I do feel grateful. I do feel thank you to have these opportunities. But the reality is, especially, I've got 3 children and I've started to get really homesick. I don't know what's going on. I think it's just a little shift happening in my life where my kids are fine. They're like, see you later, Mum. And David's there with them if I'm away, or I'm lucky I have a big family support network around me. But it's just trying to, listen to that actually, that there was something about traveling, and I did go and do the gig and it was fine. But yeah, I guess I can feel something shifting in me, and I'm not quite sure what it is. Again, it's unknown, and that's fine. But I know that I kind of want to make music more, and I still feel like I'm not that technical, I'm not that able. But for the first, I don't know, but I'm on a bit of a roll at the moment, and I'm finishing things, and we're finishing tunes. I didn't finish tunes for years, and as soon as I started, I could just do it. It's like a muscle memory. You just learn how to finish tunes, and that's what I want to do. You don't get as much money making tunes as you do DJing. This is the thing, like the money is often with the DJing, and then when you DJ, you can come back and then you're knackered and then you've got to prep for the next weekend, and you need space sometimes and just time to figure stuff out. And I've got this idea that's been brewing, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'm getting there with it in terms of my production, and I need time and space in order to do that. And that, I'm thinking about maybe getting a part-time job, possibly. I've looked into it a little bit, but maybe doing that and maybe slowing down DJing a little bit. I don't know, but then I'm thinking, will that actually bring more balance to my life, or am I then just going to end up having another job on top of everything I do? Is that just going to make things harder? But just your idea of success and just having kind of balance and happiness in life is going to change, and that's okay. And to try and listen to that and honour that and not feel that it's hard, because it's a bit like the Wild West out there. There's no contracts, maybe if you're a resident somewhere, but it's not like, it's freelance, it's a hustle. Nothing is given. So you can have 1 month where you're so busy and another month where you're not as busy. So you feel like you need to be taking every opportunity that you can. And then you don't want to complain because you don't want to seem like you're a Debbie Downer, at all. But I think the reality is that a lot of people who are DJing quite a lot, and I don't even DJ as much as some of my mates do. I don't know how they do it, but there is a side to it that is really, really tiring and hard, especially if you're drinking on top of that. It's brutal. And yeah, if you do start kind of playing out regularly, master the power nap. So I was talking to Ben Pest about, we got so good at it, like a little hour or two. It helps a lot, because I think once you've experienced proper exhaustion again, it's very easy to kind of get into quite a depressive state, which is no fun for everyone. So to try and, just be mindful of that.